We, continue to look at the film, evaluate it, try to dissect it, figure out what we need to do to continue to put these guys in a position. We're tweaking things, constantly, and we'll continue to do that. I think our defense is making progress. They've showed progress the last 3 weeks. They've been pretty efficient in the things that we've asked them to do, and we'll continue to hopefully get better.
There's more pressing things going on. I know that you got rid of the beard.
Yeah. Just change up. That's it. Just change up.
How do you keep the confidence of these guys at this point? What's kind of the level of frustration?
Well, I can assure you they're all frustrated. Because they all want to be successful, and they're all working hard, and they're putting the time and the effort in, and they're doing the things that we ask them to do. And so it's more about just getting them to continue to believe in each other and continue to work hard. And they're doing those things. There's not been a situation where I've been concerned about their attitudes or their effort or any of those things. And so we'll continue. We got some really good leadership, some guys that are making sure that the locker room's good, and we'll continue to try, look for ways to put them in position to be successful so that they can have success.
Who are some of those guys kind of being built?
Well, I would say MJ and Donnie are probably Donnie Miles are the two on defense that are the most vocal, and but there's other guys that are underlying that it's lead and then be a good teammate, and buy into what the leadership is saying, and those guys are doing that. And on offense, Cam Dillard is really a guy that is really the one offensively that has stepped up and doing a lot of that.
First 3 games, Chaz was just under 70% completion rate. Last 3 is at 51%. How much of that has to do with the personnel attrition, and how much of it is something else?
It's a combination of a lot of things. A quarterback. A lot of people give a quarterback a lot of credit, and then they give him too much blame. Because it's going to take the other 10 guys for him to be successful. And whether you're getting pressure or whether you're not getting pressure, whether you're creating separation on routes or whether you're not creating separation on routes. So there's a lot of things. I would say part of it is is personnel. Part of it is what we're doing with him in some situations, and that goes back to personnel and how we've limited what we can do in the playbook.
I think he was only sacked twice a day, but he got hit a lot. He's been getting hit a lot the last few weeks. How much is that a part of his growth? Is just getting out there, getting hit, getting back up, and does that also help him develop kind of leadership skills of showing the guys he's going to keep doing that?
He doesn't. He's a guy that likes to be aggressive with the football. He likes to run. He's not. Contact is not something that he really worries about. He likes being physical. He likes that. There are times where I have to tell him, that I don't need him to do those things. And but I'd rather it be that way than the other way.
How do you think Brandon has adapted to his role on the team? Obviously, he was a guy who came here expecting to.
Yeah, I think he's done a tremendous job. He really has. He's been a great teammate. He's been positive. He's got a smile on his face. He comes out there and practices hard every day. You haven't seen any problems with him. He really has. He's been very supportive of Chaz and the other quarterbacks, and they're all supportive of each other. And he's doing a great job of leading from that position.
I think you got this question last week about kind of building toward the future with Chaz in terms of does it make more sense to go with him because of that. But the more things kind of progress this way, does that make more sense, or what would it take for?
Well, it's still about putting the guys on the field that are going to give us the best opportunity to win. That's it. That's all we're concerned with right now. And if Brandon continues to grow and continues to get better and continues to give me confidence in practice, then there's no reason that I wouldn't put him out there.
Larry, the first 5 offensive drives were with 3 and outs. I know a lot of those were probably scripted plays ahead of the game. Looking back on the film, was there anything that kind of stood out to what was preventing the offense from getting rhythm?
Yeah, it's we went through it, with a fine tooth comb. And I mean, if you make a little mistake here, and you get behind the chains, and then you struggle to, convert on third down, and that's what it is. I mean, that's in every one of those scenarios. We picked our tempo up when the drives that we did have some things going, and we got some continuity, getting that first down and getting things going gives those guys some confidence, and then we are able to get moving.
How much of some of the issues with the running game falls on the offensive line right now? You've got some older guys there, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, the running game is going to be basically about the offensive line, but you still got tight ends that have to block at the point of attack. You got perimeter blocking that's very important because people are getting, safeties involved in the run game, and so all of those things are important. But the majority of it's going to go on the offensive line. We got to do a better job of playing up front. There's no doubt about it if we're going to be able to run the ball efficiently.
Do you see something on the film this week with offensive line that stands out of something they're not doing?
Well,
Is it a communication thing? Is it a
thing?
thing?
It starts off with communication, because a lot of times when there's a breakdown, it's a communication thing, or it's a late communication and it doesn't get to everybody, which would be a communication problem.
That was kind of my question, but Jordan Riley didn't play on Saturday. We didn't see him on the field. Was there anything to see there?
No problem. No problem.
Collectively as a group, how are the wide receivers doing with their routes and also being able to get free whenever they're, especially with short passes, they're physical with the defensive backs?
Yeah, I think in some scenarios they've done a really good job. I mean, there's been some times where we've been able to stretch the field and those guys have made plays for us, and then there's been times where we haven't created enough separation, and so we got to continue to do that. We got to continue. We really work hard on trying to come up with ways to be able to create those things for them. And so we've got to continue to do that as a staff. Aside
from Anthony, have any of the other guys that have limited playing time, have they made noticeable progress in their route running and getting open?
Yeah, I mean, you saw Josh Cabrera out there for the first time the other day. You got Daz Newsome, who now will be back 100%. That we'll get him more involved. Roscoe. I mean, that was his most extensive playing time, and he did some nice things in the game for us. He may not have been as productive, but the things that he was doing were the things that we needed him to do.
Larry, the set of plays at the end of the first half has become somewhat of a hot talking point, topic of conversation. Hindsight being 2020 as it is, why the decision to be aggressive with the pass down the field instead of maybe being conservative and doing a couple of QB?
Well, because we've done it before and been able to hit those, and I thought we might have that opportunity with the double move. Then it was, okay, we didn't hit the ball, we didn't hit it, so let's go ahead and run it out and get out of here. And probably the looking back on the play, the only thing we probably would have been able to do was just get under center and go quarterback sneak. Because we wouldn't have been able to hand the ball off if we would have blocked any play the way we blocked it there. So
was that just bust on the offensive line, the safety?
it was a communication problem, yeah.
What's your level of individual frustration? Because you're a guy, obviously, whose offense has had a ton of success ever since, you went with this back in the late 90s. You probably haven't experienced a situation like this very often.
Yeah, not much. I mean, so yeah, I take a lot of pride in what we do. So I do get frustrated. I want our guys to be perfect, and I want to put them in a position where they can be perfect. Understanding that we'll never get that, but what we're seeing right now is just a whole multitude of issues that we've got to get cleaned up. And the frustrating thing is that we're making some of the same mistakes over and over, and that is the most frustrating thing. But even though there's levels of frustration, I mean, I can't remember a time that I don't go through a season without being frustrated. I mean, it's just my nature, so it's just another level. And again, it's to me, if things aren't going the right way, you work even harder, if that's even possible. And like I said, we're trying not to leave any stone unturned to try to give these guys another opportunity to be successful.
Were there any positives to take away from Saturday you saw on tape?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there were, first of all, the defense. There were a lot of things defensively. If you're asking, are you implying offensively?
No, anything?
Yeah, there were some really good things on defense. Casey Collins played probably the best game he's played since he's been here. Miles Dorn probably played the best game of his season. We had some guys that really, really played well, and we had some really good plays. There were some offensive plays where guys did what they were supposed to do, and we had good positive yardage. It's just too much inconsistency, and so, we gave up the one punt return, for about 23 yards, which is not something that we've done in a long, long time. And part of that had to do with ball placement, hang time, getting off blocks, and that's something that we can't allow to happen because we've been pretty solid on our special teams.
Collins, this guy has kind of gotten gradually better throughout his career and especially recently. What have you seen from him in the recent?
Oh, just
games?
a lot of confidence, and he knows what to do, and so now he's just turning loose and playing, and you see his natural athleticism come. He's a big guy that can run, and he's really athletic and he's physical. He likes to hit, so he's he's a good player.
Ask you, go ahead.
I think when Virginia went to Boise and did what they did up there, it really opened people's eyes a little bit. What was your reaction when you saw that score and kind of studying what they've done this year?
Well, Broncos always had success everywhere he's been, and they go in last year, and it's going to be a building year for them, and now these guys understand what they're trying to do on offense and defense, and I think right now they're with where they are right now, I think they're playing with a lot of confidence, and there's no doubt that they're playing well, and they feel good about where they're at, and they're going to come in here, and I'm sure they can smell some blood in the water, and they're going to play really hard and get after us.
I think their defense is ranked 24th in the country, and they're pretty consistent against the pass and the run. What do they do that has allowed them to be effective?
Yeah, they're a multi as far as defensively. Their fronts, they get into just about every front you can. Some of it is a little bit different, so your guys have to be able to recognize those things. They do the same thing on the back end. Their safeties are going to be heavily involved. They're not afraid to play man coverage or cover one or cover zero. And, so it's a little bit different in the way that you have to approach it and the way you see it. And, they've given everybody they've played problems with it.
What's your level of satisfaction with the play call? Speaking of Greg's question, the thing that happened down there late in the first half, and have you been any more involved than ordinarily?
I have been and will be even more so, not necessarily in the words coming out of my mouth going to the signal guy, but will be much more involved in when we are in between series and those kind of things, and what I would like to try to do. So that, I don't know that will be the answer, but it's something that I feel like, that's where I can help the most, and so that's where I'm going to be.
Have you already started doing that, or is that more of going forward as
Just started into it, but we'll be going more as we go forward.
were you, I guess, conscious of trying not to, weigh in too heavily earlier in the season when you let your coaches do their jobs,
Yeah, but I'm not saying I'm taking over the offense. That's not
Right.
what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just going to be more involved in what we're doing.
So who calls the plays? I know you have Caps on the field, Hex in the box,
So,
Guns on the headset, you're on the headset.
Who calls it? To the signal guy? Is that what you're
Explain
asking?
How the whole process would be great if you can.
Yeah, so in between, I've done this before, so in between the series, or before we go out, when the offense is on the sideline, we're basically talking about what we want to go with the next series, so that all the coaches can talk it over with the players, so they have an idea of what's going on. Now, those are normal down and distance calls, okay? Third down and short, we're going to go to our third down and short, what we have planned for the game, okay? But any normal down and distance calls, we give about 3 to 4 plays that, hey, this is the way we want to start this series, all right? And then from there, they talk it over. We get into the series, and Heck is making the call to the signal guys. Signal guys, signaling. That's all there really is to it.
maybe a minor thing, but when did you shave the beard? When did you decide to do it?
When I woke up this morning.
This morning? So,
Yeah.
okay, so the players
There
haven't
was
seen
no-
you, players haven't seen you like this
No,
yet.
there wasn't a whole lot of thought process in it, actually.
Are you superstitious at all?
No, I'm not really superstitious. I really am not.
You guys won 11.
I don't believe that the beard will have anything to do with our play. I really don't. If that was the case, I'd have done it a long time ago.
Does it feel weird?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You guys won 11 2 years ago, and then now you're dealing with inexperience and injuries kind of together. I guess it kind of highlights the challenge of building a program and that can contend, ACC and nationally year after year, and
Right.
how things can change. I mean, can you I guess expand on that a little bit, like just the challenge of keeping things going and not?
Well, the thing is there's never a time where you can relax and say you've arrived. I mean, you're constantly dealing with issues all the time, and so, there's a lot of variables involved, and you've got to stay on top of every single one of them all the time to be able to play at a certain level. And right now, for whatever reason, we're not playing at that level, and again, I've said it before, that's my job to figure that out and put us in the best position possible.
What do you feel like is realistic given the injury situation you guys have? I mean, you've been decimated at receiver, the offensive line has been banged up and inconsistent.
I mean, the only way I look at it is how we perform on Saturdays. I mean, it's not what's realistic and what's not realistic, and what are the reasons, what are the excuses that we can't do it. It's how do we get it done? We got to find a way to get it done, and the focus is just on this week. Actually, the focus will be on tomorrow, just having the best Tuesday that we can possibly have, and then the best Wednesday. And I know people don't want to hear that, but really that's the only way to get out of this, is to focus one day at a time and try to be better than we were, the day before. And then we get to Saturday, pour it all into Saturday and take it out of the bank.
Given so many young and inexperienced players having played due to the attrition, when you sat down and watched the film yesterday, did you see growth in a lot of those younger guys?
Oh, yeah, I mean, every rep that they get is a learned experience that's gonna pay off for them, and they'll get better as they go. We just gotta get better now. That's the problem, is you can't, there's no patience involved. We gotta get better now. You gotta play good now. You gotta do your job now.
This is very much off topic, Coach, but our sister station in College Station is begging us to ask you what you think of Lee's job at A&M Consolidated at the moment.
Yeah, I'm proud of my brother. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to him. We don't talk much during the season, but I know my dad keeps me informed on how he's doing, and he's doing a great job with that program, and he always has. There's never been a doubt in my mind that he'll have success, because I know how hard he works, and he'll do a good job, and he is.
All right, thanks, folks. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank y'all.